Alright, everything is nice and cleaned. These parts are absolutely beautifully made. The only thing I need to do now before putting it putting everything back together, is to clean this uh, felt. Well, it used to be felt. I suppose I could take it out, but it's glued, so I won't. One option would be to actually take it out and wash it and then glue it back together, but I think I will go the easy way. So right now, I don't know if you can see, it has this shiny aspect, and this is what comes off of it. So I will just give it a good clean with a Q-tip and some lighter fluid. It takes away some of the dirt and whatever got inside, probably some of the paint or dye, because it's too much black. I don't know if this is an approved method, but seems to work. Alright, something like that. As for the optics, I decided to clean it and put it back in the correct lens. So this is the optics of this lens, and the other optics is back in its lens. I cleaned it with alcohol, and it's super nice now, aside from this front element that has all those micro scratches, but otherwise it's super clean. As for the coating, I think I have a couple of spots where the coating kind of disappeared, maybe. I'm not really sure how it looks like, but I saw a couple of spots on one of the inner elements that looked like I'd say fungus, but not fungus, like little spots of a different color. And I suppose that's the coating wearing off, because I didn't see them before. But otherwise, it looks super nice. The only things that are visible are air bubbles. So if I look into the light, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air bubbles. If I look at the lens pointing like down, I see black spots, like little spots of dust, but in fact they are air bubbles, so that's fine. Otherwise, no trace of oil or any kind of contaminants. I suppose that's a good thing. They don't look hazy anymore, and both look pretty similar. I'm inclined to say that actually this one that looked worse is now a tad better than the other one. So we'll see tomorrow in daylight how it manages to take pictures. Okay, now back to these parts. first one to go in is this one, and it has to go with this little notch up, so towards the front of the lens, like this. And now it's turning super nicely because it's like brass on brass, so that's a very nice combo. And I am going to grease it up with this NSK lithium, I suppose. That seems to be a bit softer than my Helimax, and because there are multiple surfaces rubbing against each other, I suppose a thinner lubricant actually helps, because they will kind of sum up, and if you use something like medium or maybe even soft, it might be too much. Okay, and this one sits on this, I think, so I'm going to add a bit here. Now, how much is too much? I am yet to find out. When threads are concerned, so helicoids and stuff, too much can actually make the helicoids move harder, because I think it's something like a hydraulic effect. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's nice. Now this notch needs to be opposite to this focusing knob. It doesn't matter now, it will matter when I'm going to add more parts. Next one is the little retainer ring that I will need to start threading using maybe a screwdriver. So make sure it's seated. The biggest risk here is cross-threading it, because it's kind of deep, you can't actually grab it and turn it, and once you push on one side it will have the tendency to lift from the other side, so you don't really know if you are threading it correctly. And I think threading it with the spanner is actually the better choice, because I can push down on both sides, and hopefully if it's not threading correctly I will feel it locking, and that will be the moment when I really very quickly need to go back. Now if it's threaded all the way in, this piece will not have any kind of up and down motion or play. Right now it does have a little play, so it needs to go even further, but I think I'm going in the correct general direction, because it would have locked by now if it was cross-threaded. Okay, let's see. It's not as smooth as I would have hoped for, and it has a little bit of a, I don't know how to say it. It's like when this notch goes past the notch in the ring, it goes like there's a slight warp somewhere. Maybe I will try to take it back just a little bit. Oh yeah, much better. So I guess it was over tightened. Hell knows. Let's go just a bit more. Come on. Okay. Yeah, it's good now. Okay, so this one should be here, so opposite to this one, and then this ring goes in like this. And now this cap can go over, and I'm going to install the cap so that this one doesn't fall out. But before that, a bit of grease here. Okay. I don't need to take it all the way down right now. It will be easier when everything is connected on the other side. But the fact that it went all the way to here means that the threads are still okay. So I didn't deform the outer ring. And that's a good thing. Okay, and now for the last two bits. align the two marking with the infinity marking, and it should screw all the way in until it shows it shows past infinity. Why is that? No, it shows infinity. It was an error on my part. It went too far on that side because it's not locked in that inner ring. So in order to lock the inner ring, I need to get this in and then take it to infinity. Okay. Okay, so the video kept going in and out of focus. I think because of the magnification that was 2x set on the phone. Anyhow, sorry for that. I just noticed it. Alright, so pretty much that was it. So the lens is ready. It works smoothly, a bit on the heavy side, but that's down to my lubricant. Apparently some extra soft grease would help, but it's perfectly usable. The optics looks pretty darn good for what it was. We'll see how it acts, how it performs in real life photographies. I did a bit of a testing, meaning that I compared this one to the other one, the one that has no aperture blades, and to my Jupiter 8, one of my Jupiter 8s, and this one has a bit less contrast than the Jupiter. This one has a bit more less contrast than the Jupiter. So in terms of contrast, all images shot at f2, 1, 2, 3. But for sharpness, this one is the real thing. All right. Anyway, long story short, so basically this is how you can open up and clean your Summar lens. As a word of advice, take great care to the little brass ring, the one that bolts on the lens. So you have these 3 screws that are connected to a brass ring, the one with the 2 prongs that slide up and down in the notches of the piece with this little line here. So that piece is not twisting or turning, it's not turning inside its counterpart, but in fact it's moving up and down. So basically what happens is when you are focusing the lens, let me put this back on the camera. So when you are focusing the lens, this ring remains stationary, okay, because that brass ring, the one that's bolted to the backside, is actually bolted to a stationary component. So it's bolted to the lens mount, right? If you focus the lens, let me see how I can. When you're focusing the lens, this part stays stationary. Therefore, the brass part stays stationary, and therefore it locks this one in place. This one has on its back side 3 notches, and those notches not notches, 3 things, 1, 2, 3. Those 3 things are what lock these 3 things in place when the lens is fully extended. So by moving that piece front to back, you are in fact moving the entire optics front to back, so you are focusing the lens. Hope that makes sense. That's how they made a collapsible lens with a non-rotating front element or optics, doesn't matter. Unlike the Elmar or the Soviet Industars, collapsible Industars that rotate with the entire front. And I think unlike the later versions of the Jupiter 8, because if I remember correctly, the entire nose rotates. Let me check. Yeah, so unlike this one, come on. So unlike this one, this one moves with the entire barrel. And that's not so nice because obviously your aperture values will be all over the place. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So basically be careful with everything that's brass inside, because everything can bend very easily. And with this outer very slim piece, so the one directly underneath this ring, because that can bend easily as well. Alright, have fun, clean your lens. I'm inclined to say don't worry about the coating. If it needs to go to have a clear lens, I think that's the best solution, otherwise it's pretty much useless. Alright, thanks, I will see you next time.